following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, where every man in my thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me, big up the girls inside the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy, big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your one I wanna be, Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Star's.
Hey ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. We want to welcome back our cool, outrageous man about town, Ron Russell. Welcome back, sir.
Well, it's good to be back because, I've been ill for quite a while and nobody knows why. Doctors don't know why. And one doctor said it's probably from the COVID shot because he had a lot of patients that have the similar symptoms that I have, and it's an aftermath of the COVID shot. If you don't get COVID and you took the shot, you may have my symptoms. But if you have had COVID, you won't have my symptoms. Anyway, we're not basing it on that. We're still looking to see what it could be. There's no cancer, there's no illness. They can't find a damn thing. One test left, and that is a blood test to see if I have something with my red and white cells, but that can be cured with a shot once a month. And if it's not that, then I don't know, but I'm getting better on my own. I'm building up, I'm gaining my weight back, because I look like an old Jewish woman. Look at me.
You look fabulous.
Look at those glasses.
No.
Watch what I look like. Who do I look like now? Look.
Anyway.
I look like the old lady that died, the old Jewish lady with all the jewelry. What was her name? That's who I look like.
Ruth something. Ruth Ginsburg? No, I forgot.
Anyway, I forgot her name. But you know who she is. She passed away recently.
Iris Apfel. That's her name.
That's who I look like. I mean, I don't want to look like her. So, they used to say I look like Tony Curtis. To go from Tony Curtis to Iris is a big jump.
Anyway, guys, we have a super spectacular show today. I'm super excited. We have two fantastic guests. We have Stephen Macht coming on. You guys will definitely recognize him when you see him. He's been in everything, and he's worked with everybody, and he's very, very cool. And then we have Dee Wallace coming on. You guys know her from 400 and something movies, but she's the mom in E.T., and so we have two superstar guests. I'm super looking forward to it. We want to say hi. People are starting to show up in the chat room. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Stefan Bell. Thanks, Cindy, for putting out all the promos. It's going to be a lot of fun. I want to do a plug for myself real quick because I'm really getting into this whole book thing, and I have written a bunch of books over the years, and I'm getting them all published. And next, after we do mine, we're going to do Ron's script, and we're going to publish it as a book, and it's going to be coming out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But anyway, like always, my Pop Goes the Collector book is still for sale, and it's on Amazon in Kindle format or in a book format. You can also find out about it if you watch Collector's Corner with Jimmy Star, my action figure podcast. So check it out. Silver Spies trilogy, you guys. This is about 3 senior citizens in their 70s who become spies that save the world. It's very good. There's 3 stories in one. It's great. It's also on Amazon, and it's in a hardcover or Kindle format. And then for the younger audience, this is all about warlocks, and it's called The Obsidian Circle. And I've been promoting it a lot lately. And I have one more that got published, but I didn't get copies of the book yet. They'll be here next week. So if you're looking for good stuff to read, I'm actually setting up an author website now just with the book stuff, and that stays separate from all the other things because I do a lot of things. But I want to thank everybody who's been buying the books. We've been selling a pretty lot of them. So thank you so much for all the support. And I guess that's it for that part. I want to thank everybody, too, for tuned into all the shows the last couple weeks without Ron, too. It's way more difficult to do a show by yourself than it is with somebody. So we're
Yeah,
happy
I
to have
heard
Ron
the
back.
shows without me bombed.
No, they didn't actually.
Yes, they did. They bombed.
No, last week's show got 30,000 views on YouTube, which is 20,000 more than our normal show.
That's because you're
We
so
did
wonderful.
good. No, it's
You know,
not.
I really can't stand him sometimes. He doesn't have enough time in the day. He has to write books now. He has to do everything. There's something really wrong with this man. He's not human. He's like weird. I think I've got an
No.
extraterrestrial.
So here, I'll explain it. So I'm getting older,
No, you're getting crazier.
and I need to have sources of income because I'm not going to be able to run around on sets forever, and I'm not going to be able to do all the things that I do to support myself. And so I have to have other options. And so writing the books is a way to generate income for me as I'm older, because writing books, I can do it till I'm 100.
But I'm 85. I'm not here for too much longer. And when I croak, you'll have a lot of money.
Well, you know,
So either you knock me off now, kill me now.
I think we're going to live out your money, so you don't have to worry about any of that. Also, we want to say hi. The chat room's starting to fill up. Stefan Bell's in the chat room. Hub Reynolds, what's up, Hub? Hope your happy wedding is going well and married life is treating you well. Sydney Lady Lake is joined us in the chat room. Hello, hello. And Hub says that's why he writes screenplays. So he's been writing screenplays.
Hub?
Yes. Which his screenplay is really good, you guys. And he's looking for financing for that also. I also want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Here's the places that you can hear us now. We're on Buzzsprout, Podbean, Acast, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, and Amazon Prime. We're also on about another 150 other ones, but they're like ones that probably the normal people don't know anything about. So I don't bring them up because I don't even have a list of all of them. Most people watch YouTube or listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So that's basically our biggest platforms. Oh, and SoundCloud. And on SoundCloud, we get a lot of plays on SoundCloud. So thanks for checking us out every week. It's a lot of fun. We're enjoying doing it, and we're very happy, and all our audience and everything is happy to see Ron's back and healthier.
I'm not better. I'm getting better.
Yes.
As I said, we still don't know what's wrong. What caused this collapse of everything? Interesting, what has happened to me in the last 6 months.
Yeah, this hasn't really been like a.
I don't believe your
a
show got higher ratings without me. You lie a lot.
All you have to do is go on YouTube and look
No,
at
you
it.
lie. You make it up. Because your show was crap until I came on it. The minute I came on it with my crazy shit, then it sort of went up to the top and became #1 show. So, you just like to hurt my feelings.
I'm not hurting your feelings.
I would never have done that to you.
I would have never said that the show was crappy without me. Here, 29,000 views last week.
Yeah, but what about when I'm on the show?
Well,
We get more than that when I'm on.
no, we don't.
Oh, we don't. So I make it less.
No, I didn't say that.
But that's what you're inferring.
I'm just saying is we did good. The 2 weeks that I was here, the show did very well.
When
That's
I was
all.
on the show, we got tremendous views.
Yes, sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. It just depends on how much people like our guests. Today's show is going to get a zillion views because we have two great guests.
Not
And
your
you're back.
attitude, you creep.
And you're back.
I'm back. I'm back.
So there you go, everybody. We're just playing around, you guys. And for people who don't know who we are, we're just having fun.
We do this every week.
We do it every week, and people love it. And
Right.
we have, just for those listening, so we've been on the air for 18 years, and we're almost at 1.3 billion streams of the show, on all the different platforms that
And
there are.
I'm in the business since 1959, when I made my first movie as an extra with Tab Hunter and Sophia Loren. And Tab Hunter remained my friend for years. Tab Hunter. And Jimmy's a novice in the business. I'm in the business 65 years. So I think I've done well in 65 years to still be here.
Absolutely.
And
But I'm not really a novice. That's the way I get.
no, but I lost my marbles due to this illness, and I wasn't able to function with anything. I couldn't use my computer. I couldn't make my breakfast. I was a vegetable. And now I'm better. But if I lose my mind a little bit in the show, please forgive me. It's not that I'm bored or that I'm rude. It's just that my mind sometimes collapses and I go into a freeze frame like this.
That's not going to happen today.
No, I hope it doesn't happen today. But if it does, please forgive me.
That's right, you guys. So all is good. I think we're going to bring on our first guest because I'm super excited to have him. So let's go ahead and bring on our first guest, Juan. Hello.
I
Seen you in a while.
you guys are something else. It's the odd couple.
No, we are definitely the odd couple.
Yeah. I'm the sophisticated, wonderful one, and he's the garbage one.
You know what it is? It's like, so I'm a child of the 80s, so all my friends were the stars of the 80s, and all his friends were he was friends with Betty Davis, and
No.
and all those other
My
people.
friends were legends. They were not. My friends live today through film. People still watch.
Jane Russell was his best friend.
That's right. And people still watch Gentlemen Prefer Blonde like it was brand new. And I told that to Jane. I said, you know, the wonderful thing about being Jane Russell is, I said, after you're gone, people will still know you. And she said, oh, Ron, they don't even know me now. I said, Jane, they do. So we went out to lunch. This was in Florida. And she sat down and she said, tell them. So I told the waitress, I said, you know, this is Jane Russell. Well, she said, oh, hello, Jane. And Jane looked at me and she kicked me under the table. She said, I told you nobody knows who I am anymore. So it's a sin that the legends have faded away among the young today. But there are the young people who love film and love history of film and watch all of us old people.
Lovely story. But also, you are going to introduce me. They don't
I
know
am
who
going to
I am.
introduce
Oh, we didn't do
I'm
that.
going to introduce
I
you.
jumped that. I'm sorry.
He always jumps that.
It's
It's his
all right.
first week back.
I'm rolling with it.
Forgive me. I'm not all there in the head. So
All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, one of my favorite actors. I've seen almost everything he's done. He's phenomenal. His name is Stephen Macht. Hello and welcome to the show.
It's so nice that you brought me on. I really appreciate it. So it's great. And it's you're a lively group. And so this should be interesting.
It'll be
What do you
interesting.
want to know? What would you like to know?
First, well, you already kind of met Ron before we came on, but this is my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Ron Russell.
who's getting better from a crazy something that we don't know what it is, but it caused memory loss and dementia.
Oh,
I
God.
thought I called Sophia Loren.
Oh,
I
my
did.
God.
And I swore to my kid. And Jimmy, I said,
He had a reaction to he had knee surgery, and he had a reaction to being knocked out, and it really messed him up badly.
and I swore that Sophia said to me, oh, Ron, it was so nice hearing from you. Call me again.
I got it, but it's also one of the ravages of age.
Yes.
No, this has nothing to do with age.
Well,
No.
what we remember, how we remember, the memory phase. We're real, we're not real. I just spent last night with a friend, you know him, Dan Lauria,
Yes.
the actor, and he's
Actually, I
written a play
talked to him in an email recently.
called Just Another Day, which is about this very fact. Two people meet on a park bench, and they begin to say. He says to her, "I slept with you last night." She says, "Get off! You're such a rotten person. I don't know who you are." As the thing develops, you find that once upon a time they may have been married, they weren't married. But their interaction and their graciousness with the word is what recreates the love between them on and on and on. And they keep on coming in and out of memories. It was wonderful. So to hear you talk, you're okay. It's part of what happens. And I'm 83 years old. I understand that.
Yeah, I agree with that. But they gave me an overload of to knock. I told them when they did my knee, I want Michael Jackson juice. I want everything you've got. Shoot me up. I want to be dead because I don't want to feel a thing.
Okay.
Well, the anesthesiologist did. He gave me everything, and I was out for like a week
Oh, God.
and in a coma.
Oh,
He actually called people all over the country in the middle of the night, said that there was aliens, taking him in the hospital, holding him captive. It was
I'm telling you, it was a
freaking
trip.
scary.
It was such a trip.
Anyway, so we have people in the chat room. Give a shout out and say hi to the people in the chat room.
Hi. Hello.
They're
Hello.
on. There'll be more people joining us, and
But to be the truth, people our age really lend to a film. You
Absolutely.
cannot have a film with just young people because it's weak and boring. You need to have us because we bring substantial.
Gravitas and humor.
You know,
Yeah, there you go. Gravitas and humor.
Yeah, we do. I think that losing Maggie Smith was a great loss to the business because Maggie Smith was 1,000 years old and could deliver a line that knocked the hell out of you. You know what I mean? So we are valuable. We older people are valuable. And if we flip out once in a while, it's okay because you have to understand it's part of life.
There you go. So we have a lot of. So we have a fan in the chat room, and she's.
So I want to ask him a question.
Wait, let me finish.
No, that question stinks. I don't want to hear it.
I don't care.
It's
You
a
do.
bore.
The fans do.
No, your question's going to be your bore.
No.
My question's better.
It's not a question. I'm making a statement.
Okay, make a statement.
So Dawn. So we have some really loyal supporters for many, many years, and one of them's name is Dawn Hinton, and she basically sent me messages on Instagram. She watched all your different movies. So if you could just give us, she's talking about Graveyard Shift already in the thing. If you could just give her a shout out and say hello, Dawn, because she's a big.
Hello, Don. That's nice. You remember Graveyard Shift.
Everybody remembers Graveyard Shift. I watched Monster Squad yesterday.
That was a
My question was, did you try to talk your son out of being in this crazy business today?
No. Gabriel, when he was 5 years old, during the good times way back, I used to have a lot of actors, writers, whatever. He was maybe 45 pounds a stick with absolutely shocking blonde hair. And he would get up on the dinner table and sing all of the songs from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, including "I'm Just a Sweet Transvestite." And it was destined.
Hilarious. It had to be hilarious.
Be an actor right from the start. There was no stopping ever.
Right. I think we should tell everybody, in case you guys are not familiar, his son Gabriel is the star of the TV show Suits and Suits LA. He's a phenomenal actor, and it's one of the best shows on. I think it's on USA. Is it on USA?
It was, but it got a rebirth through Netflix.
Okay, now it's on Netflix. It's the greatest show ever, you guys. And also Steven's actually on it. He's on a bunch of episodes. What season are you on?
I think I started around 4 and then went through season 9, and I played Professor Gerard, Henry Gerard, his Harvard ethics professor.
Oh, I remember now that. Yes, it's a great show. You guys will love it.
The reason why I asked you the question about your son
Yes.
is the business has changed so much.
Yeah.
And today it's garbage, filled with garbage, with lunatics who don't know what the hell they're doing. And they treat each other like morons, and they're all loaded on pot on a set, and it's disgusting. My daughter wanted to be an actress badly. And I said, Deirdre, it's not when I was young. You're not going to go to a cocktail party with Glenn Ford and Rita Hayworth. Doesn't happen. You're going to go to crappy junk with junky people. And she experimented. She made a couple of movies, and she said, Daddy, I hate the business. I wouldn't go near it. And she became a lawyer. So there are so many young people today who only dream about red carpets, photographs, telling their friends, I was in a movie. And they're so desperate to do that they pay to be in a film.
Well, I'm going to share a story with you. Gabriel is not that person.
Yeah, we know that.
Gabriel is a movie. And let me tell you, I'll share a story with you how he learned from all of my mistakes. I mean, I was full of piss and vinegar when I came out here. And I learned a certain humility over the years. And my first job with Gabriel, I got on the set to play his professor. And he comes out and he says to me, he says, Dad, look, there's a director over there, but he's not the director. I'm the director.
Yeah.
I'm going to direct you. He said, the first thing, I'm going to send you back to the makeup room. We're going to take all the makeup off your face. He said, because I know you. You are the strongest, most powerful person and one of the most powerful people in my life. And so I want that from you. There's no acting here. You're going to talk to me. You are just going to say the words to me. He said, I've been with a lot of really fine actors over this period. And what I've gotten is to now say to you, my father, I adore you, and you just talk to me. Usually, the star gets the last close-up, but I'm not going to do that. You haven't done it in a while, so I'm going to give you the last close-up. We'll do this. We'll do our takes, and then we'll give you the close-up because you'll get more used to it. So I'm thinking about this, and he says, okay. And I want you just to repeat the lines. If I don't say cut, it means just let's play the scene again. And let's just do that, okay? So we do the scene. And so before the scene, I think to myself, I am 50 years in this business. And my son is talking that way to me? I think to myself, Jesus Christ. And I take a deep breath and I say, he is absolutely right. He's looking after me. He really cares about me. And as we do the scene, we do it once. And he says to me, cut. Dad, you're terrific. You just talked to me. That's acting. Next. And we moved on. So what my story is, I just wish that people of our age will be taken care of in some way by their children or their friends the way my son took care of me.
Oh,
Beautiful.
I have no qualm there. Both daughters came here from Pennsylvania to take care of me. They cooked for me. They changed my sheets. They did everything like nurses. Now they went home. So I have wonderful kids. But what my point I wanted to bring out was how Hollywood has changed. We have a lot of young people that watch our show.
Yes.
And I want them to know, hey, kids, it's not a ride. It's not Hollywood that you think it is. You're not going to be in a gown on a red carpet winning an Oscar. You're going to go through hell. Hell isn't the word. You wait or by a phone. You wait to get a call. You don't make it. You got it. They got it. They take it away from you. It's horrible. It's a bitter life.
I also think you got to put it more in context.
What?
Because they, meaning his son and Stephen, they're like in huge, big budget things. But the Hollywood of today is a lot of like.
No, you're interrupting my whole thing. What I'm saying is he and his son are fortunate because they were able to make it.
That's right.
They had to go through hell. I know he had to go through hell.
Believe
How many broken hearts did you get?
I got. Come on, I was out of work and had been out of. I came. I was trained as a classical actor in England, and I went to New York, and I couldn't get any work. I couldn't get any work at the age of about 28, and I hustled. I did some regional theater. I acted with Dusty Hoffman in the Boston Theater Company. I played little parts. I came to. I couldn't get any work. The first time, and I looked at all on backstage. I finally showed up for one off-Broadway play, Arms and the Man, Bernard Shaw, and I met the stage manager. He says, "Look, we're looking for an understudy to understudy all the male-speaking parts, and be an assistant stage manager. If you know Shaw, they all talk. Essentially, he was saying to me, you'll have to learn every line in the script." I said, listen, I've been out of work. And at the time I said, I need to have $15 a week. I don't have any money. My mother is in a hospital. I'm alone. Can you pay me $15? I'm living with a friend for $5 a week. And maybe you can pay me so I can eat. He says, well, for that, you have to go meet the producer. So I go meet the producer. He says, all right, show up Monday. Monday, it's raining. I'm wearing a raincoat that doesn't shed water anymore. And he comes out and he says to me, listen, Stephen, I'm sorry. We found somebody who would do it for nothing.
Oh, shit.
That's right. That's what it's
Hold
about.
on, he's not finished.
With that, I thought to myself, I'm not going to do this. I can't do this. I got to eat. And I was in love with a young woman. And I went and spoke to a mentor at Dartmouth and he said to me, Stephen, you love to talk about it. Why don't you just go get an MA and a PhD? You can't, and you'll teach and you'll talk. You'll see where that goes. And you can get married because you'll learn a living. So I was a good Jewish boy. And I thought, I'm not going to do it that way. And it took me 13 years from that moment to go get an MA, a PhD, teach, go back to England and finish my training. And then as the young guy on a totem pole at Queen's College, the guy who trained me in England took over the chairmanship, and he said, Stephen, you're a PhD, you've written, I know you want to be an actor, so you go. And instead of writing for your credits towards tenure, I will take anything you do off Broadway. And I hustled a teaching job from 8 to 10 in the morning at Queen's College, and hustled. I had 9 lines in a Broadway show called Vivat Regina, opposite Eileen Atkins and Claire Bloom. 9 lines I started. And gradually, over 5 years, I went from one small role to another small role. I was out of work, and I had 3 kids. I married that girl, and we had 3 children. I hustled until I had an off-Broadway breakthrough in a play I took over from a guy, Kevin Conway, and When You're Coming Back, Red Ryder. And a young director, an English director who had taken over Stratford, Ontario Shakespeare Festival in Canada, saw me and offered me a gig. And I then went with my family for their season in 1975 and was scouted off the stage there by Universal Scouts. But it took me 13 years of that kind of struggle to come back and finally get offered a deal from Universal in 1976. So from about 68 till 1976, whatever that is, it was just, I struggled very hard. And finally, when I came out in 76, I began to work. So it is not an easy ride. There is an apprenticeship that goes on, and the things that I'm still learning are who are you? Really, what do you bring? And you must know yourself clearly in order to reach any kind of gracious state. Great acting teacher of mine would say, you got to know yourself before you reach the divine. So that you bring whoever you are and say, this role goes like this. This is the way Stephen Macht says it goes. Very different from any way from what you're going to do, another actor is going to do. This is my stamp. This is who I am. And that's the only thing you got to hang on to in this business, besides the people, the coterie of people that you meet, the contacts that you make, the truth of who you are.
So
that's the thing I'm still learning. And that's what my son brought out in me that I had begun to forget because I was out of work, even at the age of 76.
love it. So you're from Philadelphia, right?
Right. I was born in Philadelphia.
We lived in Doylestown for many years, and Ron's daughters live in Doylestown.
Jesus. It's something.
It's
What
beautiful.
a trip. What a trip.
But getting back to the subject,
Yeah, go ahead.
you will find, if you're a young actor or actress starting off in the business, that the sentence that will go through your mouth will be, let me show you. Let me show you what I could do.
That's it.
And people walk away from that because they're not interested in what you can do. They're only interested in money and how much money you could bring to the film.
Yes and no. I came from an educated background. I was never really interested in the money. It wasn't that. I was one of those.
Your money. I
guys
mean,
who-
film's money.
Right. You get to work depending upon, can you generate, do people want to see you? And that's what it is. Do you bring money to that film? Do you bring attention to the film? But for me, I got to tell you, and I made a lot of mistakes along the way because I was just interested in really doing the work. It was never for me. People would say, if you come off the stage in New York, it's a whole other sense of who you are. Some actors, when I was doing it in the 70s and the 80s, they would say I would do it if, I would pay them to do it. Now, you get out of that habit after you're here in Hollywood for a long time. But the joy of being together with a group of people on stage or in front of the camera has never left me. I was like a little kid when I get there, even at the age of 83.
I am also.
So, and it is that spark, it's that wonder that transcends a lot of the bullshit that you have to go through. And you have to hang on to that. Otherwise, if you're just in it, to be for the glory and all of that, there are actors who do that. They're not my friends, and I don't hang out with them. Anyway.
So in context, though, let me put it in context. So we work on a lot of indie films, now we've done a bunch of under $1 million films. Now we're like upping it. I have a bunch of films in the like $1 to $5 million
And
range.
being on the set is such a bore.
But on the lower budget films,
Yes.
a lot of those films are funded by Indiegogo, which people pay to be the stars of the film, which makes the film stink because they don't know how to act, they haven't trained, they haven't done anything. So that's a lot of what
Stephen, I was in a film where I played a very good part. I was supposed to be a cop from New York who likes to push people around.
Yes, go ahead.
And I moved to a little hick town in Pennsylvania so I could push people around. Okay. And I'm a nasty New Yorker with a big mouth, and I'm rough and I'm tough. And I'm fighting with this young guy who I know his brother was murdered. And I suspected him. And I went into this whole big, beautiful thing about, I know you did. Blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
You know what he did to me?
What?
He said, "Oh, you're a bastard."
No.
Well, I turned to the director. I said, "What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?"
I got it.
The guy didn't know how to act. He was in a suit that was too big for him. I mean, it was a sin what they did to me. So I told Jimmy, "Fuck you and your friends. Don't ever ask me to do a film for them again."
Anyway, so we're doing some bigger ones now.
Believe me, I've had a couple of those.
Oh, can you believe those shits when you got a jerk off that doesn't know how to act? You want to scream, and you did your best work. You did your best work.
Graveyard Shift for me was one of those. I had been working with I was on Cagney and Lacey. I played Sharon Gless's boyfriend,
Yes.
the Swedish lawyer boyfriend. At any rate, the production stage manager, Ralph Singleton, had this project. He comes to me, says, "Stephen, I want you to play this bad guy." So I read the part and I think, "Oh no, I'm not playing that. That's a really bad guy." And I go to my great acting teacher, Milton Katselis, who many of the people that you see have studied with. So he says to me, "Look, Stephen, stop it. You are going through what's called an organ reject. You read a part and you say, no." He says, "That is the part, the very part that you better investigate because you're hiding. You're hiding what that part stimulates in you and you don't want to look at it." So for about a week, I'm looking at this part and I think to myself, he's fucking right. And I said to Ralph, "I'm going to play this part. But I got to tell you, I'm going to Bangor, to Maine. I'm going to be there 3 weeks before anybody gets there. I'm going to hang out only in working class bars. I'm only going to be by myself. And when we get on the set, I'm not going to talk to anybody." He says, "Stephen, don't do that. They're going to hate you." I said, all the more reason. Why? I'm going to become this Warwick. I will take a look at everything dark inside of me. And believe me, I'm going to eat everybody alive on that set and have a real sense of humor about it. So I'm playing that part throughout the whole thing. And we finally get to the final scene. And one of the actors I'm in a fight with sucker punches me in the fight and breaks 2 fucking ribs.
You're kidding.
Why would I tell you that?
I know. I'm just saying.
And I said to him, "You fucking asshole. We got still 2 weeks left. You will never see me in another scene with you. You will have my stand-in." He said, "Listen, you asked for it." I said, "This is acting, man. This is acting. And you broke my fucking ribs?"
Wow, that's big.
Anyway, I'm telling you, stuff gets very real. And for certain people who don't know really how to act, they get so sucked in that it becomes something trans real. Anyway, it's just a story.
No.
No.
Hang on. In the chat room, they're talking about how great your accent was, though. They loved your
You
accent.
know what pisses me off?
What?
It pisses me off when they read lines. I want to say something, but I can't because I don't want to be the big, the big guy, old man, 100-year movie actor, and help them. But I want to say to them, you have to become. You don't read lines, you become. They don't understand that today. Today they do this and they read lines. In my day, we were taught you do this. Look, you put your hands in your hair, you read a line, you make it come alive with motion. Today they stand there like fucking puppets reading lines. I can't act with people like that.
Two stories about that. Two stories. One about the accent that you brought up. I had a Mainer with me 24 hours a day. We hung out all the time. A dialect coach. Now I got raked for that dialect, for that Maine accent, because I was the only one who used it. Everybody else wouldn't do it. I decided I will be that guy. For instance, there was a line said, and he was with me, and there was a line that said, listen, this place is dirty. He says to me, he says, don't say that word. Don't say that line. Say this line. This place ain't been clean since Christ was a kid. Much better fucking line. And funny and cutting. So when they said to me, there's only one guy in the last month who really, Joe somebody gave me a review. He really got the performance after all these years. I felt vindicated. He says the only reason to watch that movie is this guy who does an outstanding performance. So that's one.
Fans love that, though.
That accent. It was every time I said a word, that guy was there. And it stuck out, and some people thought it was a sore thumb. Do me something else. Fuck you. At any rate, that was my feeling about that. I really did get into who that guy was. And when I came home, after the thing was over, I still had the goatee and the short hair. After about a week, my wife says to me, get out of the bed. You're not in this bed with that haircut and that goatee. And I said, listen, Suzanne, I was this guy for about 12 weeks. It's hard to give him up. She says, you're going to give him up, but you're not going to come in the bed with me. Right. So when you talk about become, as far as this little guy could do it, I immersed myself in that character. And I also want to shout out to Dee. Dee Wallace is going to come next. She and I did a movie in 1987 about AIDS. And I see her at the Hurricanes. And it's a very warm greeting all the time. Anyway, so go ahead.
Let me go.
Okay, let's go.
I was in a movie where I played a Brooklyn murderer hood. And I can do the talking okay because I bring my voice up like this and I start to talk like this. And they loved it. They loved it. Hey, over there, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And the line was, oh, you mean the joint where the coffee cups smell like dirty ass? I loved the line. I thought it was hilarious and the kids would love it. Well, my director said, you can't use the word joint. I said, why? He said, nobody knows what a joint is. I said, aside from the fact that it's a pot, a marijuana, everybody knows the word joint, a dump, right? So I fought with him. I haven't seen the film yet, and it's out. I don't know if they used it, if they didn't. But what am I going to say? Oh, it smells like the place where the cups smell like dirty ass.
No, you did the right thing. You're talking to the chorus. I think that's terrific. A great choice because it's not just the line. It is who you are.
Exactly.
Who you are.
Oh, hooray.
It goes like this. You are telling the story.
Exactly.
If the director really understood that.
Exactly.
Even if they don't get what the joint is, they will get your intention behind it.
The director was an Italian from Brooklyn. And I said, you stupid fuck, how do you not know the word joint?
So I want to like brag a little for you real quick, and then I want to talk about some things that I have actually highlighted out of here. So first of all, you guys, here's some of the shows you would have seen him. If you're like 20, you don't know some of these shows, but you would know Suits. But these are shows that he's been on. $6 Million Man was like my favorite when I was like growing up. So like I wanted to be this. I wanted to be there. I have all the action figures. Kojak, Serpico, Quincy, American Dream, Hotel, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Highlander, Hill Street Blues, Scarecrow and Mrs. King, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Viper, Kung Fu: The Legend Continues, Babylon 5, Melrose Place, Tarzan, Jag, Texas Rangers, Sliders, Millennium. That's one of my favorites. Lance Henriksen's my favorite. The Practice, Jack and Jill, Boston Public, Castle, The Mentalist. And he's been in a ton of movies, you guys. And the first, I mean, Knots Landing, you guys, which we've had Donna Mills on the show. She was a great guest. He's done a million made-for-TV movies, which I want to talk about. But first, I want to talk about a movie that probably nobody ever asked you about. So when I was younger, one of my favorite actors was Nick Mancuso, and I'm a huge horror movie fan. And you did a movie called Nightwing, which that was the first thing I ever saw you in, was the movie Nightwing.
Right.
And that's kind of what like made me follow and watch all the other things you did, is because I like that movie so much. So talk a little bit about it, and talk a little bit about Nick Mancuso, because we had him on the show like 15 years ago.
He was a nice guy.
He's a terrific guy. We met in Arthur Hiller's office. At my agent at that time was Lenny Hershand with William Morris, and we talked with Arthur, and he was trying to decide who's going to play the sheriff and who's going to play the Indian sheriff. That was the time when they allowed actors to play Indians, or to play, you can't do that. It's not politically correct now. At any rate, so Arthur talked to both of us, and he said, "Listen, Stephen, Rick, Nick, you're a little more street than Stephen is. So you're going to play the sheriff, and Stephen will play the upsized, Indian who's taking advantage of his people." So that was simply the decision right there. And we went and we did that. He's a very interesting guy, a very thoughtful, sensitive guy. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's Canadian originally. I think so, because I think he also went to Stratford after I went there, or I think something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's one of these things that I talked to you about, aged memory, got things crossed up. I have no. Anyway, I remember him, and we were friends. We didn't hang out, but we respected one another. And I enjoyed shooting that movie. But I got to say, Arthur Hiller didn't have a clue as to what the myths were behind. I finally went to Arthur and I said, "Listen, Arthur, who had done, what is the love movie about Silver Streak?"
Yes.
He did a lot of those, and he was great for that. And I said, "Arthur, why are you doing this movie?" And he says, "Well, I found it interesting. It's a change of pace for me." Well, what it was is about all of the Indian myths that underlie the original peoples, and how those myths get screwed. And I played the guy who knew the myths and just decided, I'm going to make deals with oil companies and sell the oil for the benefit of my people, but yet it ends up screwing the people. So I think in the hands of a different director, it would have been a much better movie. It just would have been.
It's a bat movie, though, you guys. It's available on Amazon. I almost watched it.
And why do the bats invade this original people's home land? It's all about that. And I thought it was wonderful. Nick and I used to talk about it. And, we just did the part. It was just aside to that one. There's a final scene where the bat cave is blown up. So Arthur comes to me and he says, "Listen, Stephen, I need to put you in the helicopter. I want you to take off. And as the thing is burning, I want to see you survive it and go out of sight." I said, "Arthur, you won't see me. You won't see me in the helicopter." He said, No. I'll follow you with an 800 millimeter lens." So I get in the helicopter. It's a 2-seat helicopter with canvas sides. And the chopper pilot says to me, "Have you ever flown in a helicopter like this?" I said, "No." He says, "Well, look, hang on." So we fly up and we get them the signal. They light the inferno and it's burning. He said, so you can see, here's the fire, and we fly up, and as soon as we hit the hot air, this helicopter shoots up 200. Whoa, like that. Whoa, like that. And I almost chuck up, and then it goes past the fire and it drops 200 feet. And I hear over the walkie-talkie, Stephen, we missed the shot. We got to do it again. I said,
Oh,
I'm coming down.
fuck you, right.
Boy, you're gonna put a stunt guy in this. You don't need me in this thing. There's no way. I get down, I get off the helicopter, and I'm waving my handkerchief like a white flag. And he's laughing. Arthur Hill is laughing at that. And I think it's very funny, Arthur. You don't do that. You just don't do it. Next time so every time I would see Arthur at an affair, a Hollywood affair, I'd look at him, he'd smirk at me, and I'd say, like that.
It's amazing what they will ask you to do.
I'm 83 and I don't give a fuck anymore. I really feel there's a lot of great directors and there's edges in me that just come back. So if they want to hire this guy again for a thing, this is the full package that's
Right.
coming.
So I've got two other topics, and then I'll let Ron talk.
Yeah.
So first of all, Monster Squad. I watched it yesterday. Probably the most influential, family horror movie ever made in history. It's a great movie. It still holds up today. I watched it yesterday while I was working. So talk a little bit about Monster Squad, because I freaking love it, and I actually have talked to some of the people. I'm doing another movie, and we talked to some of the kids that were in it to be in this new movie I'm working on.
Right. It's had. Let me tell you a little bit about it. It's had an amazing life, and it's all due to Andre Gower, because after the movie was made, it got a rating of PG-13. Why? Because Dracula says to the little girl at the end of the movie, "Give me the amulet, you bitch."
Yes.
Oh, well.
So I got a PG-13. Who is the movie made for? 8-year-old to 12-year-olds. So the movie came, nobody could come and see it when it was made. Thanks to Andre Gower, who got a VHS copy of it when he was about 13, when he made the movie. When he becomes 16, 17, he starts to go to every film festival there is with this pirated VHS copy. And they start showing it. And it starts to build a following. And inside of maybe 8 more years, the studio hears about it and they release a DVD. So and most of these horror conventions, the core of this Monster Squad cast go. Now I have seen 3 generations of fans. I have seen people like you originally saw it. I've seen their sons, their daughters. They come for autographs. I saw one guy comes up to me with his son who's wearing a Jason mask. And he puts his leg up on my desk. He says, "Look at this. He's got all of the monsters tattooed to his leg." I said, "What?" He says, "It's a great movie." So, and I said, "Well, who is this right here?" He says, "This is my son." So I'm thinking to myself, I got into a panel discussion of 500 people. They said, "What is it that you think is the message of the movie?" I said, "I have to tell you this. What is Dracula and the monsters? What do they offer? What do they offer? Why are they there? They're there to offer eternal life and eternal, do whatever you want to do, and immoral life. Whatever you want, go ahead and do it. And the monsters represent those parts in us that are totally ego-driven and monstrous. And what does the young group do? They fight the monsters. And ultimately, in a fantasy world, they defeat them. Well, I believe it's not a fantasy world. And there are plenty monsters out there.
I was married to one.
What are you going to do about it? So my message, this little fantasy monster movie, the subtext of it underneath is to say, who are the monsters now in your life? Are you going to let them get away with it?
I think it's a fabulous movie, and I think that's a great message. And I think the the little girl, the fact that Frankenstein develops the relationship with the little girl, and Wolfman's got nards. I mean, it was just a great fun,
It was old thinking. Years ago in film, everything was censored, and you had to be careful what you did. Today, the censoring, I don't think there is censoring anymore, do you? Although
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because I see the sets are wild. Everybody's nuts on the set.
No, we have friends who make horror movies that, like, penises get chopped off and they show it and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I got a good story for you. Right, Stephen, you're going to love this story. So I go to the red carpet premiere of what's his name? Marcel Waltz's film. Yeah. And they cut a guy's dick off in the film. So they showed a guy with a real dick and the fake dick comes off. So I said, Marcel, what are you going to do next? Put firecrackers up a woman's snatch and blow it off? He said, we did that already.
Listen.
They blew a woman's snatch off with cherry bombs. I said to Jimmy, I'm out of the business. I'm leaving the business.
It's those are choices. I agree with you. It has
gone beyond insanity.
It has.
It's gone beyond. When I saw Julianne Moore, who I love.
I'm not interested in film.
Listen, Stephen. I saw Julianne Moore, who I love, great actress, sitting on a toilet bowl, taking a dump, then wiping her butt and looking at the toilet paper and throwing it in the toilet. I said, why? She doesn't need the money. What does she think? It's art? Taking a shit on a movie is art? What are they, nuts? What more are they going to do next? I mean, is some guy going to whack off and shoot a load into the camera and we get hit in the face with it?
It's amazing.
I mean, what are they going to do next? It's disgusting. It's gone too far.
I can only tell you, and I'll put it really bluntly, a short thing. Look, when you come, I'm 83, so when I was born and I went to school, I became interested in dramatic literature. And it breaks down this way for me, and it's something I've carried with me my whole life, and through my PhD, my study. Drama breaks down into three genres. There's tragedy, comedy, and melodrama. Tragedy has to do with the lead people and everybody in the script making errors of judgment, wrong decisions, usually out of ego. They get angry and they make a decision, which causes a lot of pain and suffering through the whole arc of the script. And there's comedy that can be involved that highlights that. What usually the scripts are about are those people discovering that they are the source of their own shit. The responsibility does not lie outside of them. You can't blame everybody else. It is who you are. The scripts that focus on like Horton Foote's Tender Mercies, are wonderful, wonderful scripts. The rest of what's called melodrama. The threats are not from inside. They're from the bad guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, sending bullets, first bullets, then grenades, then bombs. And how does the hero, he skirt that? And usually through his better sense of humor and quicker sense of wit, he defeats the bad guy. So it's split. What happens? You hate the bad guys and you root for the good guys. That's primarily what is in film. And it's lost. Film has lost, for the most part, respect for the words. And it's only through words that you can see characters trying to make decisions about their lives. So there's very little of that left. And most of it is, let's shove dynamite up this one or that one. And it's about, let's defeat the bad guy. I think respect for the word and respect for great filmmaking and the words during the 60s and 70s in independent film, it creeps back a little in shows, it keeps back a little in some of the episodic TV like The Pit, or why I like Suits was because every one of those characters was making mistakes. Yes. And they had to discover their own purpose in the matter. They had to discover where are the weaknesses in us. And there was comedy that revealed that and very serious stuff. I felt that was superior writing. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
So we have a really good friend named Jeff Caperton. He's a big producer, and he's in the chat room, and he said, "Hey, that whack-off scene I did was important to the story."
What? What did he say? What did he say?
That whack-off scene I did was important to the story. so also you're a soapy. You're on General Hospital. So General Hospital is my favorite show. When I was in college, I skipped school. I skipped classes every day to watch it. We're very good friends with
Tristan Rogers.
Tristan Rogers, rest in peace, and Sean Kanan, and Ian Buchanan, and Carolyn Hennessy, and Stephen Martinez, which I don't know what he goes by.
On that show, and I'll tell you why. About 20 years ago, my career was dipping, and I went back to New York, and I was in I think it was All My Children, and I had a shitty attitude. I thought I was better than the script, and I went back for 6 months, and it was awful. And then I came back.
What was awful?
My work was awful because of the attitude I had. I was Dr. Somebody who was trying to lure what's a wonderful actress that she's now on General Hospital, Erica Slezak.
Yes.
Trying to lure her to kill her own son for fakakta reasons, whatever it was. And I was shitty in it. I was bad. The only good thing about it was when I used to go out to 67th Street, it was shot in the Armory in Manhattan. There were women who used to see me. They would come out. Your name is Doctor. What's your name? Dr. Hair. They would say, because you have such great hair. That's who they remembered. At any rate, come to General Hospital. Because of my acting teacher, Milton Katselis, I finally saw it as an opportunity over and over and over again to examine all the parts of myself. And I played this guy, Trevor Lansing, who was the father of Rick Lansing and had a very specific fight going on with Sonny. And I felt there's nothing that they can do. I have a 6-month contract. I will just absorb whatever the threats are, and I will enjoy maneuvering around whatever threats there were that were posed to me. And I will show this resilience of a man who's been through the wars of my life. And I showed up every day, first one on the set. And I loved being with him because I got a chance to hit every day. And I was memorizing 15 to 20 pages a day. And it was at the time I was studying to become a Jewish chaplain. And I had to learn Hebrew at the same time. So somebody says to me, "Are you having trouble with the lines?" I said, "Are you kidding me? You try to learn Hebrew and these lines at the same time. Learning lines is much easier than Hebrew." At any rate, I had a wonderful, wonderful experience. I loved being there every day. It gave me a chance. And my teacher, Milton Katselis, who told me about the organ reject, he said, "Stephen, finally, you have learned to act."
So I'm confused. Stephen,
Tell me.
you liked it or you didn't like it?
I loved it. Not the first one.
You said in the
Not
beginning.
The first soap opera he didn't like. The second soap opera he loved.
I didn't like it because I resisted who the character really was. I wasn't playing the character.
Got it.
I was shitty at it. I was bad.
And you're also Soap Opera Digest Villain of the Year in 2007.
That part in Trevor Lansing.
Yes, Trevor Lansing. I love it.
Because I thought I saw it as an opportunity to explore. And as Milton used to say, if you go to Australia, if you say you're going to play King Lear in Australia, then fucking show up or
That's
don't
King
go.
Lear.
In
You know,
anything you do,
Sean Kanan told me that one day they threw 40 pages at him with changes. I said, "Sean, you memorized 40 pages?" He said, "Yeah." I can't even remember 2 lines anymore. No, really. I have a plug in my ear. Jimmy feeds me my lines because I don't remember lines anymore. Now, I said to Jane Russell, "Jane, I could get you in a movie so easy. Why don't you come back and make a movie? And she looked at me in her lovely way and she said, Ron, I can't remember lines. I said, okay, Jane, no more. Can you remember
I
lines?
understand. You get to a point.
Stephen, do you remember lines? How are you with lines?
Fortunately, I must tell you, fortunately, my short-term memory, meaning if I have to remember a script, I can learn those lines, but I don't remember all kinds of people that I worked with over the years. I don't remember. My wife will say to me, you're like cottage cheese. You don't remember anything in the past.
I'm
I
the
say, what am-
same. I don't remember all the people I'm friends with, but we watch Turner Classic Movies. And on the movie came Esther Williams the other night. I said, she was so sweet. I loved Esther. Jimmy said, you knew her? I said, of course I did. She was Jane Russell's best friend. So I watch movies and I said, you know, Jimmy, I know that one. I know everybody in the goddamn movie. I knew all the way back to Dorothy McGuire. I knew Dorothy McGuire.
So you see, it's locked in there, and you remembered their names. That happens to me often. Susanna says, "What's the name of that actor?" I said, "Come on, that's Sterling Hayden." It just boop, comes right out.
He doesn't remember it though with any of the modern movies that he does. But but here's a question I like to ask everybody who comes on.
People ask me, Ron, so what's out there? What I said, oh, I don't know. They said, what movies do you have out there? I don't, Jimmy, what movies do I have out there? I have to plug one. Coming out soon, folks, the greatest movie ever. I play General Milan, out to kill the killer clowns in
Clown Motel 3 Ways to Hell. October 24th. It's October 25th premiere in Beverly Hills, everybody.
and it's probably it has over 100 clowns that get killed. So for you idiots out there that like to watch clowns get busted into pieces, you're going to have 100 clowns you can smash to pieces.
Also, we want to say, everybody, you can follow Stephen on Instagram. He's at Stephen_Macht, M-A-C-H-T.
Right.
His website is stephenmacht.org.
Right.
So here's a question I like to ask everybody. It's like a bucket list, and you've worked with everybody, so it's a 3-part question. Male or female actor that you would have liked to work with that you haven't had an opportunity to work with yet, and it can be living or dead. And then if you could have ever been in any movie that's ever been made in history, what movie would you have liked to have been in?
Raging Bull.
Oh, that's a good
What
one.
movie?
Raging Bull.
Bobby De Niro.
Raging Bull.
Yes.
Hang on. Raging Bull. That would have been difficult for you because you would have had to be a Brooklyn Italian idiot. How could you have played a Brooklyn Italian idiot?
You'd be surprised about how
I
idiot.
would love, Stephen. I would love to see you in that role.
You know, my wife often calls me, not these words, but she says, you're a schmuck. At times, you're just a schmuck. Meaning, there are times when I just don't get it. And the behavior that she frowns upon most, gross sort of behavior, just comes out of me. So when you say to me, you couldn't have played that, I can play that. I can play it. Anyway, I respect the Bobby De Niro.
For me, that's a natural role. I could play that naturally because I have a Brooklyn accent and I never lose it. You know why? They hire me all the time to play a hood with a Brooklyn accent.
Yes.
Now, I train people because sometimes they're supposed to be New York people, Brooklyn gangsters.
Right.
And they don't know how to speak like a New Yorker. So I tell them, here, the first thing I teach you is forget about it. If you can't say forget about it, you can't be an Italian. And you know what they say? Oh, forget about it. No, that's not how you say it. Forget about it.
It's great. So, let me tell you one quick story. My time is up. About Brooklyn.
We have 5 minutes, so you're okay.
Well, I get a call.
It's a great show, by the way, Stephen. I'm loving every minute.
Great. I get a call from a woman whose name is Shireen Anderson. She is the director of the Mystic, Connecticut Film Festival. Now, I'm from Mystic, Connecticut. After my father passed away, we lived in Brooklyn. We moved to Mystic, Connecticut and lived with my grandfather. She calls me. She says, listen, we want to honor you with a Lifetime Achievement Award. I said, that's really nice. She says, now I know that you lived in Brooklyn. Where did you live? I said, Brooklyn Heights.
Oh, that's fancy
He says,
schmancy.
he says, what street? I said, Montague Street. She says, what
Montague.
number? I said, 68. She says, what apartment? I said, 7D. She says, I lived in 1C for 10 years. Now, she's 30 years younger than I. She says, I see you went to Dartmouth College. I said, yes. She said, did you know my father? I said, what? She says, he was in the class of 61. I said, I was in the class of 63. He was 2 years ahead of me. I said, I don't know his name. She said, do you know this other guy? And I said, yeah, I remember him. He was in the Deke House. She says, my father was in the Deke House. Did you know the Deke House? I said, I didn't. I knew the Deke House, but I had a friend who wrote a movie called Animal House based on the Deke House, the crazy Dekes. She says, well, you're going to have a good time talking to my mother when we give you this honor for lifetime achievement, because we investigated who my wife was from Boston. My mother used to come from Boston. It used to take 5 hours to get from Boston to Dartmouth. And she dated my father, married my father. And then when he passed away, she then ended up with this other Deaky and has been living with him. And she's going to love talking to you because your wife had similar. Now, what are the chances coming from Brooklyn that I'm going to be asked by a woman who's the head of the Mystic Film Festival, who shares so much of sort of a synchronicity of my life? It's beyond that.
Living in the same building.
A local boy going home. The little guy who did good is going to go home, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Were you in a fraternity? Were you in a fraternity at Dartmouth?
No.
Oh, really? Okay, I was a Phi Delta.
Well,
yeah, you were Phi Delta, yes.
The story is long, but I'll cut it short.
Yeah,
when I went to a luncheon for Lauren Bacall, when Lauren Bacall met me, she said, where are you from in Brooklyn? I said, you heard it? She said, yeah. I said, I'm Red Hook. She said, wow, tough guy. So
That's
Lauren and I became instant friends, and I sat on her lap because there wasn't a chair for me at the table for this $1,000 a plate dinner that we were having. So I said, I can't sit on your lap, Lauren, I'll hurt you. She said, no, you won't. So I sat on, I really didn't sit, I made believe. And we just had the best time because she always was a Brooklyn Jew. She never changed. And I was a Brooklyn Italian Jew. So we got along fine.
You did come from a really tough section because
Red Hook. Yeah, what are you talking about?
I lived in Brooklyn from 1944 to 51 when they were building the Belt Parkway, and all the tough guys from Red Hook used to come to Brooklyn Heights and rage hell. There were gang wars at that time. I remember getting hit in the head with one of the stones that was piles of stones used to line the streets in Brooklyn Heights that were used for the Belt Parkway. And during the rock fights, I got hit with one guy from Red Hook hit me in the head. Anyway, you were from a really tough area.
I was born in the Red Hook projects in 1940.
Jesus. Yeah.
Tough times. And when I grew up across the street from, we lived on Columbia Street, was the Italian Club. If I tell you the names, Gallo, all the names that came out of that club, the toughest mafioso people you'll ever meet.
I bet. Yep.
All came out of Red Hook.
Yes.
I love it. So wait, let's go back to my original question. So Raging Bull, male and female actor, living or dead, you'd like to work with?
Bobby De Niro.
Okay.
My son actually worked with Bobby.
Actually, he did in actually, they wrote it in the chat room.
What?
The Good Shepherd, maybe.
That's it.
The Good Shepherd.
That's right.
Okay, and what about a female?
This is just off the top of my head. Sophia Loren.
Oh yeah, I worked with her. I did. I really that wasn't a fantasy. In 1959, I was in the movie That Kind of Woman, and I played a soldier. And that's how I met Tab Hunter, and we had a lifelong friendship. Sophia was delightful, beautiful, and
oh my God.
I spoke with her. I snuck away from the camera people, and I sat next to her in George Sanders' chair, and we began talking. And she said to me, "Your Italian is as bad as my English." And then we got along, and they threw me away. They said, "Hey, you actor, you can't bother Miss Loren." And she said, no, leave him, leave him. And then she kissed me goodbye. I never washed my face.
You know, I'll tell you, it's very short. The reason
got
I want to do, you know, when I was a younger actor, I've been married forever, since we were married in 1964 and had 3 kids. And when I came to Hollywood, I mean, I was a solo woman, man to woman guy. And I started getting, I had no idea who was coming on to me. My wife used to say, you don't get the attractiveness that your appeal to women. You just don't get it. I said, well, listen, whatever it is. So anyway, a friend of mine from Dartmouth, Stephen Geller, who is a screenwriter, was developing a screenplay with Sophia Loren. And he says to me, Stephen, I want you to play the male lead if this gets done. I said, I don't think I can do that. She says, go to your wife, Suzanne, get permission. The one time in your life, this is an opportunity you don't want to miss. And I said to Suzanne, can I don't know what's going to happen if I play opposite Sophia Loren. I mean, I think she is the most beautiful woman at the time during the the late 60s, early 70s. She said, I give you permission, no matter what happens, go ahead. It never happened. The movie never happened. But I had a fantasy of working with Sophia Loren at that time.
So hang on one sec. Go ahead and bring Dee Wallace on, and we'll let him say hi before we let Stephen go.
Well, that's so nice.
Hey, I would have given anything to be that woman.
Yeah. She is the sweetest, and I'm still attracted to you, Dee. I got it. When you and I were husband and wife, I never told you. I was always attracted to you. And the loveliness of who she is.
The things we find as we get older.
I'm 83. What am I going to lose? What is she going to lose?
Hey, we need him more the more we get older, right?
At any rate, it's very. When they told me you were going to be on, I thought I have to tell them. I have such a soft spot in my heart for her. We go back, and every once in a while, we go to these horror cons, and I see her, and I think, I just want to go. I'll give you a little.
You know why, Stephen? That's because you're a mensch.
Well, some people think so.
Oh no, you're definitely a mensch.
You're gonna have.
Yeah, but he's a really sexy mensch.
Yes.
Oh, sweetie girl, sweetie woman. She's gonna give you. She's got millions of stories, and I so appreciate that you guys invited me on, and that you ended with me giving her a virtual embrace.
Hey, Stephen.
Perfect.
Stephen, I never say this often. I say this once in a while. You gave us a great show. I loved every minute.
Well, thank you.
I want you to come back again.
I'll be happy
Because
to.
you're an interesting guy. You're a great talker, and you're a terrific actor.
And the girls in the chat room are like dying over you.
Well, you know, you're 100. You're 100 plus, Stephen.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been entertaining.
Thank you so much.
And I didn't realize what a good time I would have with you, friends. And thank you for an entertaining and enlightening experience.
You're a great guy.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you on Instagram.
Nice.
Yay.
Love you, baby.
You gotta love it. I love that. So hopefully you were okay with that. He was talking about you earlier in the interview, and so I was like, oh, it'd be great if we actually let them say hello. So let me do an intro now.
We've worked together a lot of times. I love Stephen.
So everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, Hollywood's favorite mom, and a horror icon and movie icon and television icon, Dee Wallace. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, and it's good to be here.
And that's the truth.
And this is my cool, outrageous man about co-host Ron Russell.
I've seen you in so much work. Stepford Wives. I loved you in Stepford Wives.
Oh yeah, I had
No,
one
really.
line.
No, I'm not lying. Listen,
I know, but it was a fun one though.
Gee, if I say something, it's not baloney. I'm not a Hollywood liar.
Okay.
You know, in Hollywood, everything is wonderful. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody's fabulous. All that bullshit. I don't do that. If I say something about you, it's true. Stepford Wives, you were good, but the best was as what do you call it? The mother
E.T.
in E.T.
Ron doesn't research anything. I do.
No. Who gets a role like that? I mean, that was some hell of a role.
hang on. We gotta wait. You're going too fast. You're going too fast. So
Well,
first of all,
I'm
we
a
have
Gemini.
a chat room full of people. So say hello to everybody in the chat
Hi,
room.
everybody.
Then we have Dawn. Just say hello to Dawn because she like
Hi, Don.
freaking out. So I actually have met you several times, but it hasn't been for a very long time. But I met you in St. Louis, I think. Is that where the Twin Towers are? Those twin buildings? That funny arch building is in
Yes.
St. Louis.
St.
So we were
Louis.
at a Comic-Con. I was promoting a movie called Brutal that I produced with A. Michael Baldwin. And so we hung out and talked with you a lot. We see your daughter at a lot of premieres here in LA. We used to. We haven't gone to any lately. And she came on the show, and that was made me think, oh, I should reach out to Dee Wallace and see if she'll come on the show. You're an icon. Everybody loves you.
No, Dee Wallace is vintage. I call us vintage now. I don't call us old. I'm 85. I'm 85 years old. And if people say, oh, you're great for an old guy, I say, I'm not an old guy. I'm vintage. There's a difference. Because I came from a day when Hollywood was vintage, when Hollywood was elegant and wonderful, and so did you. We both enjoyed the great days of the golden years. Unfortunately, they're gone, and when I'm on a set nowadays, I'm sad because where's the camera? The camera's this little thing somewhere.
That's true.
Where's the director? Where's my director? He's in another room.
Ron, we still make magic.
Yes.
What's
We
that?
still make magic.
Oh, yeah, it's fun. But I lost the beauty of the big cameras and the excitement and the don't trip on the cables, all that stuff that we went through. It was one of the dressing rooms on the stage, Joan Crawford bitching in the room, all that kind of stuff. I miss that so much.
Well, let's do a
That's
film
below
together,
you.
and I'll bitch for you.
There you go.
I got to get my hearing.
Yeah, well, you're too late. So, so here's what I want to do. I want to do a quick plug because you're going to an event next week on the 27th, or I guess 10 days. It's called Gala for Hope. So, Mark Baca Anthony, very good friend of mine. I'm producing 2 movies with him, and you're going as one of the celebrity guests with David Chokachi. It's in Texas. The website, you guys, is galaforhope.com. I told him I would bring it up because it promotes awareness for suicide prevention and mental health.
Yeah.
And Dee's a featured guest there. So I just wanted to put it out there. Anybody who wants to go, the website is galaforhope.com. And
Great cause. Great
it's a great
cause.
cause.
One I know a lot about. I have 2 suicides in my family.
Which is terrible. That part is terrible, but the fact that you're going to the event and that he puts on these events, he does them all the time. He's a great guy. We actually, his girlfriend or almost to be wife is fabulous. You're going to love her too. David Chokachi is going to be there. He's been on our show like 5 times. And I think you're going to have a really good time. And he's a really great stunt guy. If you ever need stunt people, he's got a stunt ranch in Texas.
A stunt ranch.
Yes, he did stunts for like the new Minecraft movie and the Accountant 2 and
As opposed to a stud ranch.
yes, as opposed to a stud ranch. So you're still making movies. Your IMDb, you're making a zillion movies a year, and
why not?
And you're like a horror icon, but you've done so many things. But I think besides ET, people think of you as basically like the queen of horror. Do you like horror movies?
I love them. You
Well,
know
I
why? I love them because they give you so many emotional arcs to play. That's what actors do. We emote. So I want to be very clear, though, that I'm talking about good horror films.
Good.
Not slasher films.
Good.
A good horror film takes time to create characters for you, relationships for you that the audience really gets invested in. Like in Cujo, you were with us all the way trying to get away from that dog.
Yes.
And saving that kid.
We actually had Danny Pintaro on our show last year, actually.
Listen, I don't know.
Yes, he's fabulous.
I don't know you, Dee, but I love you. because you took all the words out of my mouth. I read a script. If it's slash, I throw it away. I will not do a slash movie. But sometimes you got to be careful because they don't tell you there's slash in it. They put you in the film and then they do the slashing. And then you go to see the film at the red carpet. You say, I didn't know that was in it. So you have to be careful.
So let me brag a little. So here's some of the big horror movies. I know you've done a bunch of them, but these are the ones everybody knows. The Howling, you guys, huge movie. We also have Cujo, Critters, Popcorn. We see Jill Sholin at this benefit every year. Halloween, she's always there. Alligator. I like the Alligator.
I loved Alligator too.
I love
one of my favorite.
The Frighteners.
Alligator 2 was very clever.
Black Circle Boys, and I love Bone Drive because Lance Henriksen's like my favorite actor. Right. He's one of my more favorite actors, and so I think it's terrific. So
are you a groupie? Are you a groupie?
I am like a groupie, yes. So I have a horror.
He's the only producer that's a groupie.
I have a horror podcast also that does horror movie reviews, and I collect action figures, and I have everybody's action figure who's been on the show. Do you have an action figure?
No, and I don't know why.
I don't know why either. You should have a lot of them.
Thank you. Write in. Everybody write in.
You need to contact Funko and tell Funko.
I have a Funko doll. He has a Funko doll. Meanwhile, you know what? I would love to work with you. So I'm going to tell Jimmy that he should really put us both in a film together. I think we'd be sensational.
I think we would too.
I think because we're both good looking.
Yeah, we are.
And we have our marbles. Maybe a little.
They may be rolling around a little, but we got them.
Yes.
There is a horror movie that Jimmy is producing. I'm going to talk to him after the show. I'd love to work with her.
Yeah, I would like to too.
She's a big shot.
One thing about you too, though, is that because I used to go, the way I got really ensconced in building this show, because we've been on the air for 18 years, is I used to be a clothing designer, and I used to take clothes to all the conventions and have the celebrities come to my room and give them stuff, and then I would become friends. They came on the show, and that's how I had, because our first 2 months on the air, I had Lance Henriksen and Malcolm McDowell and all these people when nobody even knew who we were. Now everybody kind of knows, but and that's how I kind of built the whole thing. But by going to horror conventions, I'm an actual horror fan, and I love it. I have a 7-foot Jason, mechanical Jason, and I have a whole room filled with mechanical monsters.
Every October is his birthday, so Jimmy and I are married, by the way. So I'd like to
congrats.
Thank you. We're married 14 years. So I buy him a monster every birthday, and I bought him a what is that? The Santa Claus guy?
He doesn't know. Yeah, I have an 8-foot Krampus.
So there's another way to get in the room.
And I just got a new 3.5-foot life-size Chucky, mechanical Chucky. I have 2 of them now.
You can't get in his office.
One where he's normal and one where he's not. But let's go back. Okay, let's start for a little. First of all, I want to know, and I didn't even see this movie, but I want to know how it was working with Peter Strauss, A Whale for the Killing.
Peter Strauss. I know Peter. I've met Peter Strauss.
Because I didn't ask you, I asked her.
I know. At 85, my mind clicks in every now and then.
Well, I loved working with Peter, and we worked really well. We did that up in Newfoundland. St. John's, Newfoundland. I almost fell off the boat. The water was so rocky. But I really, really, really enjoyed working with Peter very much.
And Bruce McGill is in it. You've worked with
I've worked with Bruce a lot in my career. Yeah. Love him. Great guy.
What about The Hills Have Eyes? So we had Susan Lanier. Actually, she's going to an event I'm doing in October. But we had Susan Lanier on about 2 months ago. How was it? Because to me, that's one of the scariest actually of all the different types of horror movies. Because you know it could be real.
Yeah, and it sure holds up too. It was my it was my second movie. I did a religious film called All the King's Horses for Mark IV Pictures. And the next thing I booked was The Hills Have Eyes, which kind of sums up my entire life. Right there. You know, I have a whole healing practice.
Yes.
Where I teach conscious creation along with my very full-time. You know, I have 10 films coming out.
I do. I went to your IMDb and I saw all of it, and we're actually friends with the people who made a bunch of the movies that you are in.
Oh, well, thank them for me, will you?
So yes. And I actually knew about the other stuff too, because our show is on W4CY Radio. It's out of Palm Beach Gardens, or it used to be Palm Beach Gardens. And I think you used to be on a show there, or you were a guest on a show there. Many. I'm talking like a long time ago. So I knew
probably.
That you actually are very busy with a lot of cool things.
My show is over the internet.
Yes.
And
the horror world.
I think I just passed 900 shows.
Good for you.
Yeah.
We don't even have that many. I think we only have 700, and we've been on for 18 years.
Yep. Yeah. 18 years with this guy fighting. The horror world.
I just see you fighting to talk, both of you.
Yes, we both like to talk, and that's a normal. People kind of like.
You know what? I tell every guest that comes on the show, if I talk to them, make believe you're in Brooklyn and you're in my kitchen, and we're having coffee and Entenmann's crumb cake, which is my favorite.
Oh, you bet.
I want the show to be real. It's not a fake show. We don't ask what made you become an actress. Who cares? We talk about you. We talk about you, who you are, what you're doing, what you're all about. Why do we like you? We bring out the beauty in you.
Well, you tell me, why do you like me?
Why do I like you?
Yeah.
I like you because you smile beautifully.
Oh,
and I
that's
like you
a good answer.
And I like you because you're beautiful. I don't like unattractive. I don't like ugly people. No. It's terrible. Isn't it awful? If you're ugly, I look the other way when I talk to you. It's very disconcerting. But when they're beautiful like you, thin, beautiful, and smile, I'm enjoying every minute. You know, I may be gay, but I'm not dead.
Yeah, I got you, babe. Love is love and fun is fun.
I was married for 16 years. I have 2 beautiful daughters.
Good for you.
I like you because number one, I'm a huge horror fan, and so I've seen every movie that you've been in. I'm friends with many of the people that have been co-stars with you in a lot of those movies. Actually, they've all been on the show. Jake Busey, I don't know, all kinds of people. They've all been on our show. But really, the reason why I like you is because I actually have met you a few times, and you were so.
You could tell she's
nice. You were so nice to all the fans, you know, and I know that can be difficult because sometimes fans can be demanding and they want your attention, and you know it's a lot, you know, to have 50 people pulling at you at every second of the day when you're at one of those.
But I don't look at it that way. I look at it as a big exchange of love.
It really is, and it shows, and it shows, and that's why I like you so much, though, is because I've also gone to conventions, you know, where I've seen, you know, people and they're not really all that friendly, unfortunately, you know, so the fact that you're so endearing, your fans makes fans love you even more, and your body of work stands for itself.
And Jake, after 4,000 people that I've interviewed 4,000 celebrities.
Dear God.
I'm not lying.
A lot.
No, in our 14 years, over 4,000 celebrities. Plus, I had a show before I went with Jimmy, was called Set the Record Straight. Where I interviewed Lauren Bacall, Betty Davis, Jane Russell, everybody that were my friends. So I've been interviewing for thousands of years. And I can tell right away if a guest is a creep or not. It's an instinct. And I immediately I bonded with you. I like you. But I
like you too.
I've walked off the show a couple of times because we had bitches on.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Who were they?
No, he can't tell you who.
No, I can't tell you.
But you know, the funny thing is,
evil.
the people who have a beautiful body of work, who've really, you know, had an amazing career like yourself, those people are always super nice. Steven, you know, has had a great career. He's super nice. We've had some like reality show people, you know, who are famous for 15 minutes, and I am telling you, they come across and they're just not nice. They're like you would think they think they're like Angelina Jolie or something. I don't know. But
And in defense of Betty Davis, everybody thinks she was bitchy and mean and nasty. No, Betty was none of those things. Betty had a weird sense of humor. And sometimes she'd make a joke that we didn't understand, but she did. And she'd laugh and then yell at us for not laughing at her joke. So Betty Davis was, I knew her as an old woman, of course, because she was much older than I. And she was a sweet old lady. I loved her a lot.
Well,
And
that's one person I would have loved to have worked with. You know, my
you and I.
dream, the dream person I want to work with is Anthony Hopkins.
fabulous.
I know Anthony.
It's my one person on my bucket list.
Okay, hold on. So
Wait,
I'll go back to that. Huh?
Anthony Hopkins is very dear friends with Lee Winkler, who passed away. Lee Winkler was the head of Global Enterprise, and Lee Winkler was my best friend in the world. And I met Anthony, and Anthony Hopkins is such a gent. You could kill yourself from him. I'd love to work with Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah,
Good
me
choice,
too.
Dee.
So let's go back because I usually ask this at the end. But okay, so you already said him. So bucket list. You gave us a male. Give us a female that you haven't had a chance to work with that you would like to, and they could be living or dead. And then give us a movie. If you could be in any movie.
Is it over?
No, but she brought it up, so I'm going. If you could have been in any movie that's ever been made in history, what movie would you have liked to have been in? It can't be one of your own because you're already in those.
A Betty Davis movie.
Good God, you guys. Well, I can tell you either Glenn Close or Meryl Streep.
Okay.
For your other question, what movie? Wizard of Oz?
Oh, that's a good one. Who would you want to be, Dorothy or the Wicked Witch?
No, I want to be Dorothy.
Oh, yeah, the Wicked Witch is a good one. I love the Wicked Witch.
I am from Kansas, you know.
Oh, that's true. No, I think Wizard of Oz is fabulous, so I think it's a great choice.
Well, you know, E.T. is kind of our generation's Wizard of Oz.
Yes, it is.
I think it's going to be here forever.
Did you? Was it a grueling process for you to get cast in that, or did you get cast right away?
No, I went in before and auditioned for Used Cars.
Okay.
But Stephen works very far ahead, and he saw the quality in me that he wanted in Mary. And so when E.T. came along, they just called and offered it to me.
Oh my God, what a terrific thing that is.
Yeah, Hollywood story, you think?
Oh, absolutely.
My whole career is kind of a Hollywood story, guys. I was a school teacher in Kansas City. And I said, God, if I don't get out of here now, I'm never going to get out of here. So I said, I'm going to go to New York and be an actress. And everybody said, are you kidding? Nobody knows you. You don't know anybody. It's a waste of time. And I said, thanks for sharing.
Exactly.
I'm going to go anyway. And do you know, in less than 7 years, I starred in E.T.
Oh, that's terrific.
And
so
you know
I'm
what,
saying to all of you out there listening, people who love you will try and hold you back to keep you safe.
Yes.
Go anyway.
I was like that.
No, I just think they're jealous. I mean, I have friends from when I was young who refuse to even admit that I'm in the business. And I explained to them, if I were a plumber and I talked about a clogged sink, you would say, oh, that's sad. But if I talk about a movie, you change the subject. Why do they change the subject? It annoys the hell out of me. No, really, because I could say, oh, I have a new movie coming out. And they'll say, oh, listen, what do you want to eat tonight? And I just think it's rude. Or has it ever happened to you, Dee?
No.
No. Well, you have better friends than I have. Give me your friend's phone number so I can call them.
Well, you know, part of this goes back to what I teach in my healing work, Ron.
Go ahead, tell us.
Well, this is the way the good book put it. As you believe, it's delivered to you.
yes.
So whatever your belief system is, your life is going to show up for you around that belief system. So start believing that all your friends and acquaintances love you and they want to talk about your movies and what you're doing, and everybody's interested in Ron.
There you go. Where do people go? We should let people know. Where do they go to find out all that? Like, what's your website for that?
I am DeeWallace.com.
Oh, that's easy to find. Okay.
That's pretty
Hey,
easy.
what about your family? You got kids?
Yes, her daughter was on our show.
Oh,
Yeah, Gabrielle Stone,
Dee,
two-time bestseller. She's doing her version of a lot of my healing work. We do stuff together. She's directed me in short films. So, but the best thing she produced for me was my grandson.
Yes, I knew it was going to be grandson. I knew that was coming. First of all, I have to say,
every grandmother loves their
the first time we met her, because we've met her many times. But the first time that we met her, she was so freaking nice, and I was kind of fanboying because I was like, oh my gosh, she's very, very nice,
very sweet, like you.
Yes.
But the reason I forgot was this is my first time back in 2 weeks. I had what happens to older people from anesthesia. I had dementia. So I'm back. I'm so happy that I'm able to speak.
My God, I don't believe you just said that. That's what's going on with my partner of 11 years. I don't believe you just said that.
He had a knee replacement. He had a knee replacement in the anesthesia.
No, wait. I told the anesthesiologist, knock me out. I want Michael Jackson juice. I want every dope you've got. I want heroin, opium, everything. You have to put me out. Well, he did. For 2 weeks, I was hallucinating that I was kidnapped by aliens and that I called up Sophia Loren and had a conversation with her.
They call it post-operative delirium.
Yeah, post-operative delirium. I mean, I
really?
worked.
And then he couldn't take the painkillers after that because they also gave him post-operative.
Yes.
So he had the knee replacement with no painkillers.
And I was in agony for weeks.
So sorry.
I wasn't able to use my computer, the telephone. I still don't talk to certain people because they upset me. And I'm not allowed to. My doctor said, don't do that. You have to rest and keep your mind normal. But today's my first day back at work, and I'm so happy that I'm back to me.
I'm glad I'm a part of it.
Oh, yeah, I am too, because...
So wait, why did you say you can't believe we said that? So what happened to you?
My partner had surgery. They put him on medication. Within 1 month, he was exhibiting signs of dementia. And one of my doctors said he didn't get enough or he got too much anesthesia during the surgery.
Too much. I mean, it was bad.
If they know that, I mean, to me, that's a lawsuit. They should know how much you have to have and how much to give you.
You know what?
They said they blamed it on his age. They said it's like older people are differently by anesthesia. How they got out of it.
How is your partner now?
He's in a rehab facility, getting better.
Good.
And tell him he will get better in time. It does go away and everything does come back. So encourage him, because I will.
Thank you.
I'm running now on like 90% of who I am.
His surgery was May 7th. So we're in September. That's how long it took him to recover.
A couple of weeks ago, I had to leave the show. I excused myself and I said, everyone excuse me, but I don't feel well. And I left the show. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, he couldn't even sit up.
And today is my first day back.
Well, so, I'm glad I'm here to witness it.
And Dee, I am so glad I don't have a bitch there. I mean, really. My head couldn't handle a bitchy broad.
No, I wouldn't be able to handle being a bitchy broad.
No, no, no. The woman that I threw off the show came on. She's a very famous singer, extremely famous
In the UK.
in the UK. She was loaded on cocaine. She was so stoned that she was wicked, evil, and mean.
Oh, I forgot about that. Actually, we just stopped the whole show and we didn't put out a show that week because I didn't want to keep going because she was so terrible. But I don't want to talk about that because we only have 10 minutes. I want to talk
talk about me.
Oh, but one more time, let's just say we wish your partner, all the best. And I know how difficult it is.
He will get better.
But he will get
I
better.
will pass that on for sure.
Please do.
So let's talk a little bit about Halloween because Rob Zombie's Halloween, Dag Fair. I'm a publicist, and that's how I make my living. Dag Fair has been a client of mine, and we've had Tyler Maine's a good friend of mine. A whole bunch of the people from the actual movie have been on the show. Leslie Easterbrook, Danielle Hare, actually a whole bunch of them. So anyway, let's talk about Halloween. How was doing Halloween with Rob Zombie?
Oh, I had so much fun. I love Rob and I love Sherry. Every morning she brings him his health food shake and his vitamins to the set.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Oh, I just love them both. They're down to earth. I love working with him. He's a great director. In Halloween, we had 3 cameras working. And we would come in and we would do the scene exactly as it was scripted. And then he'd go, all right, everybody bring in your best shit. Let's go. And everybody would just have fun and improvise around the written scene. And that's how Scout and I came up with all that bagel stuff and screwing the bagel on. But it was a challenge also because both Scout and I were really sick for the first week that we shot, and it was freezing where we were shooting. So we were okay, action, and we'd come alive, so it was a good challenge, but we all had a great time.
I absolutely love the movie, and when it first came out, that might have even been when I met you when it first came out.
Our dog just jumped up.
And I was really good friends with Tom Tolles. I lived in Florida, and Tom Tolles, lived in Florida, so I used to see him in Florida all the time. I used to do a horror movie review show called Fright Asylum, and so he would come on our show all the time back in the day. And I think it's probably, I guess you're probably most known for E.T. for the most part, but horror.
It's really, when I go to the conventions, it's a toss-up between E.T., Cujo, and The Howling.
There you go.
I would say E.T. because E.T. went all over the world, and E.T. was a smash hit all over the world. So you're an international star. You're not just a local.
Yeah, but Cujo and The Howling are huge too.
I didn't know that Cujo did as well.
I love Cujo.
I don't think it did as well as E.T.
Cujo did really well.
As well as E.T.
You're right. E.T. is a part of our culture.
Yes, always. It's like the film. It's like we had when we had.
I love
it's
that
like
film.
when we had Steven on earlier, and he's got the Monster Squad, which wasn't as big, as E.T., but it's the same kind of thing, though. Like I grew up on it, and it's something that I'll always.
But what
remember.
I liked was her performance was easy. You were very easy in that film. You were soft, and you sort of rolled along. And the E.T. was the issue, so they made that important.
Oh, sure.
I study film as I watch. Jimmy hates it. I critique every film, and I critique all actors' performances in my mind. And you were everybody's mother. I'm sure people who don't have mothers wanted you to be their mother.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, you do.
I said, of course you wanted me to be your mother because I never knew what the hell was going on in my own home.
No. You were absolutely the ultimate mother. Not my mother. My mother was a silent movie actress who was crazy. No, my mother was wild. And so not my mother. My mother was.
I want to ask about one other film, and probably nobody even asked you about this film. But I'm friends with Chad Lindbergh, and I used to have a clothing line called Jimmy Star, like I had told you before. And Tara Subkoff was in the Black Circle Boys, and she had a clothing line that was a competition for me at the time called Imitation of Christ. So how was Black Circle Boys? Because that's like a low key but a very good movie.
It's a very good movie. I have to tell you, Jimmy, I don't have a lot of memories.
Okay.
It was so long ago, you know, and I'm past 300 movies now.
Actually, your IMDb, I wrote it down, has 461 credits between movies and television.
And television movies, yeah, probably.
So how was making television, you know, because you and same thing with Steven earlier, they don't have as many made-for-TV movies now like they did, you know. I missed that. We watch them all on Tubi, all the 80s movies on Tubi now. Yeah. But how was that getting to do those like movie of the week type movies all the time?
Oh, I love them. I love them. And they were in the 80s where it was a time where women played a lot of victims, right?
You bet.
But I seem to get the strong victims.
There you go. That's
the women who were fighting. I love your doggy.
Thank you. That's Astro.
That's Astro, our 7-pound son.
Astro. How cute. I'm a big, huge animal lover.
We are too.
But you're right. I like to name drop because our fans love it when I name drop. And back in the 80s, the queen of getting beat up was Cheryl Ladd. She was always getting beat up and killed, and husbands hating her in the 80s, remember? And
I remember her looking beautiful.
Oh, she was beautiful. I knew Cheryl because I was on Charlie's Angels, but not with Cheryl. I was on with, who was I on?
Farrah Fawcett.
I was on with Farrah and whatever. Anyway, she was always, look, a Farrah with the burning bed was good. All of those women back then were getting beat up, you're right, by their husbands, and they all running away, escaping their husbands and not letting them know where they are. And then the husband finds them. And
you're on every single TV. There's like not a TV show of the, like, you know, back from then, like I'm looking at Starsky and Hutch, Policewoman. I don't even know what Bigfoot and Wild Boy is. Hotel, Lou Grant, Simon and Simon, Taxi, Trapper John, Chips, Twilight Zone. The only thing Grey's Anatomy, which is even really current, Ghost Whisperer, Bones, Crossing Jordan, Ally McBeal, Felicity, Nash Bridges. I mean, you're on everything. The only thing I don't know what it is Sons and Daughters, and you're on 11 episodes, and I don't even know what
Sons and Daughters was a great series I did. It was way before its time. It was one of the live improvisation shows like The Office.
Oh, wow. I didn't go back and watch that.
It was the beginning of all of that. And it was such a great show.
And you also did a movie called Shadow Play, and I'm only bringing it up because Ron was friends with Cloris Leachman, and Glenn Baggerly was in it, and Glenn Baggerly's a friend of ours from LA now.
I miss Cloris so much.
Yeah,
she was so crazy. I loved her.
2 minutes.
I was going to interview her in Florida, and she was at the hotel. And when I got to the hotel, the manager was in the hallway, and there was all furniture out in the hall. And I went in. I said, Cloris, what happened? So she was doing Feng Shui. And she took the furniture out and put it in the hall. So they threw her out of the hotel. I had to do her interview in the lobby. I love Cloris Leachman.
Oh, she was
the name of someone who I adored.
She was crazy, and I loved her.
She was funny, crazy.
Yeah.
We had her granddaughter on the show. Cloris, I miss Cloris a lot.
Yeah, she was
this year, actually.
Oh, I love.
So, what do you have coming up? We have like a minute left. First of all, you guys can follow Dee. She's on Instagram at the Dee Wallace. She's got all kinds of stuff going on. Don't want to forget, if you're in Texas, go to the Gala for Hope on 9/27. What movies do you have coming out next? Do you know off the top of your head?
Oh my gosh, one of my favorites. It's a very weird title. It's based on an old legend called The Licked Hand.
Okay.
What is it?
The Licked Hand.
The Licked Hand. I'm very excited about this movie. I had a wonderful time shooting it with the director and the company. I when they offered it to me, I said, I have to talk to the director. And I said to him, I don't know if I can do this anymore. It was kind of like another Cujo, energetically. And he said, Dee, we'll have a stunt person, we'll have a stand-in, whatever you need to do this role. And I agreed. So I went in. Do you know, you guys, I did almost all my own stunts.
No.
Oh, that's good.
I did.
That's not good.
I did. And the best thing that came out of that movie is the proof that I've still got it and I can still do it.
You don't have to prove that anyway. You definitely got it.
Don't do it, because I knew Burt Reynolds, and Burt Reynolds said to me he was so sorry he did all those stunts because he had more bones broken, sprains and stuff, and that's what caused.
When's the licked hand coming out?
Burt thought he was going to die before his time because of his
injury. First of all, I want you to know the chat room loves you. Second of all, the licked hand, you guys, send me a message on Instagram when it comes out, and we'll promote it for you.
And come back on.
We'll have you back. I
would love it, guys.
So thank you so much, Dee Wallace. You guys, she's an icon. Thank you so much. See you soon. All right, everybody. Sorry we ran over, but the show's over. It was a great show today, you guys. Thanks so much to two guests. They were fabulous, and we'll see you guys next week. Stephen
next week
and Dee Wallace. Bye, everybody.
Jimmy,
Yeah, this is MC Alfred.
and Ozzy.
I'm just chilling, in a style, sitting down and designing. Where every man in my thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your one I wanna be. Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out.